Divine Baker's focus is on wins and not on his contract extension. Hey, this is the only show I know. Former players, no moderator, no BS.
Still, I'm buying it, big dog. I'm buying it. But rock with me, rock with me, rock with me. Again, on this show, I'm going to give you more work than your other former co-hosts that you killed off. So understand that first and foremost.
Okay.
I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the research for y'all and for you, my dog.
My dog.
Baker Mayfield has rarely ever in his life had to worry about money. Let's go somewhere other cats ain't gonna go. I remember, so I lived in Austin, Texas for 11 years. Baker Mayfield is from Austin, Texas. Baker Mayfield went to Lake Travis High School. That means something to me.
Let me hear it.
Lake Travis is kind of the Beverly Hills of Austin.
Beverly Hills or Beverly Hills adjacent?
Not even adjacent.
Oh, so it is Beverly Hills.
It's Beverly Hills of Austin. Average net worth, now remember, this is Austin, Texas. This is not L.A. Average net worth of Lake Travis ISD residents, $1.5 million. Now, average net worth of Lake Travis residents. Lake Travis is top 5 income per capita in the area of Texas. That's Austin, Texas, rather. Lake Travis is the top of the top. Along with Westlake. Remember, Westlake High School is Nick Foles. It's Drew Brees.
Yeah, I heard of that one.
Lake Travis High School, Garrett Gilbert, backup quarterback for the Browns, Baker Mayfield. Lake Travis and Westlake are rivals, okay? Not only are they rivals on the football field, they're rivals in wealth. So Baker Mayfield, he never really had to worry about money. Now, his senior year, if y'all do the research, his father, who was in private equity, fell on hard times. I guess they sold their house. They moved from rental home to rental home. But in Lake Travis, let's not get twisted. Like, they were like rental home in the hood. Yeah. They was rental home to rental home in Lake Travis.
Broke and rich.
So, like, let's put that in context.
All right, I hear you.
Now, experience is your expertise. Remember, Baker Mayfield was a walk-on, y'all. The walk-ons I knew at Texas, not to be confused with Texas Tech where Baker Mayfield went to college, the walk-ons used to be breaded up.
Yeah.
So even
all of them?
All them cats.
He's about to curse.
The walk-ons was breaded up.
Okay.
So even if you doubt Baker Mayfield and where he was in high school, understand you weren't on athletic scholarship, and what we know is Baker Mayfield wasn't on academic scholarship. So, like, Baker Mayfield, you was in college as a walk-on, not on athletic scholarship. So even if y'all don't believe the whole Lake Travis thing, understand he was a walk-on. That means something. Baker was never worried about bread, Sal. So now, do you really think that Baker Mayfield is worried about bread? No, Baker Mayfield understands this. Hard work, success will follow. He was a walk-on, worked hard, goes to Oklahoma, becomes a scholarship player, works hard, success will follow, Heisman winner. Works hard, success will follow, #1 overall pick. All of a sudden, you look up, you got bread. So Baker Mayfield has never chased money. He's just chased work, and the money has chased him. So with that being said, I don't think he's focused on a contract extension. I think he's focused on what he's always focused on. Chase the work, and the money will chase you. And that's where Baker Mayfield just said, and it's been his actions his whole life.
You ain't lying. That was a different take than expected and magnificent. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, in the third tabernacle. Well, it's time for the pastor to preach now. This boy up here lying. Baker Mayfield up in line. First of all, you just broke news right there. You said he chases the work and the money chases him. Baker ain't never got paid. I guess you could call this new rookie contract scale system paid. You get paid in college? No. So all this time he was chasing work, he never got his money. He never got his bread. You know how long it is to hold your breath from college to now waiting on a rookie contract to be extended to a full-time deal? A long time. I think he's tired of holding his breath. Let me just start off with that. Now let's get into my take, because I'm still devastated by the fact that you actually came up with a credible take that was not the expected take. So some of these notes ain't gonna work. But let me be real about this. Baker Mayfield is out here pandering. You know my favorite word when I really want to hit you hard, but with a soft blow, but it's going that late delayed pain. You're pandering. Bow! Yes, Baker Mayfield's pandering to this fan base, to this franchise, to us as fans and viewers. Because before he plays like a franchise quarterback, he just wants to sound like one. This is podium talk right here. Everyone knows that we play the game we love, a child's game, as a professional athlete. In part because we love it, but in part because you got to pay me to do it. If not, you wouldn't have a call log, Baker Mayfield, the last month with your agent that has 97 outgoing calls. Hey, they picking up my extension? Hey, what's up with that extension? What's going on, 5th-year contract? Anything? The point is, we know how this works. I can come out to the public and say anything, and I'm usually going to sell something to you that's going to make you say, he's all in, he's committed to the team, he's about the big picture. But then I leave that place. I walk into the locker room, them guys in there, they laugh like, you believe all that? And then you call your agent. So what's up with the money? I tell you like this, his argument is so porous. There's so many holes in saying, I'm not even concerned with my money. Acho, you played in the league. How many times you get cut? You always tell me. Five. All right, 5. Chip Kelly, my boy. Sorry. I got cut 1 or 2 times. The devastation of getting cut is, one, you're not good enough, you feel, to this one team. Not necessarily the entire NFL, but you're like, damn, they don't want me. Yep. That's what hits you first, right? Yes, sir. The second thing is, my projections of earned income has just changed and altered. Drastically. Right? And so if you're going to think about that in failure, you're not thinking about that same money proposition in success? Yes, you are, because I got 2 big deals. And let me tell you, when you're getting yourself in position to get a big deal, what you're thinking. All I need to do is X, and I know what's going to come from that. You finish that equation in your head. But when he gets to the podium or in this interview, he doesn't finish that equation when he's talking. You want to know why? It's just simple pandering. I think he's concerned with his money like every single player I've ever seen in the NFL. We're always bread conscious.
Sell is different, though, big dog. Why? Remember, people can be a product of their environment, okay? You grew up in Compton. So, you had to be, to a degree, bread conscious, I would imagine, just because you probably wanted a better life for yourself than the one you grew up with. You probably wanted a better life for your kids than the one you grew up with. You probably wanted a better life for mom and pops than the one you all grew up with. Baker Mayfield grew up with a good life. So, I don't think he has to be as bread conscious. So, growing up, I used to have to imagine what it would be like to have my own money. I used to have to imagine what it would be like.
Zamunda? I thought you were Nigerian. What you mean? He has his own money.
Have my own. You like to be an adult and have your own wealth.
All right.
But then even furthermore, I had to imagine what would it be like to be famous? But then as you get your own money and as you acquire a moderate level of fame, you no longer have to imagine. Okay. You got to understand it. So I can say now through experience, Baker Mayfield ain't worried about money. How do I know this? Because Baker Mayfield is in plenty of commercials. Now, I used to have to imagine what it would be like to be in a commercial.
My dog, say it again loud and proud.
I don't have to imagine anymore.
Why, you got a Lexus?
I'm in a couple commercials. So knowing what I have received based on my little bit of status and my little bit of commercials, I know for probably a fact Baker Mayfield probably makes more money selling commercials than he did this year alone. Y'all understand? He in Hulu commercials. He in Progressive commercials. He's sponsored by Nissan, Bose, New Era, H&H Sports, Body Armor, Panini America. So knowing what I know, based on my experience, Baker not worried about bread because he probably makes more bread off his Progressive and Hulu commercials than he does off of his whole contract. So, Sal, we live, me and you versus a Baker Mayfield, we live in different lives. Yes, when I was in the league, I was worried about my contract because I wasn't making no commercial bread. But Baker Mayfield is making plenty of money outside of the football field. I'm telling you right now, big dog, he not worried about this contract. Remember, different strokes, different folks, Sel. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. Remember how Deshaun grew up, right?
Oh, I'm bringing up Deshaun.
Let's talk about that. So Deshaun needed more imminently some bread. We would have to assume based on work done. Remember the incredible story, Work Done provides housing for Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson grew up Section 8 or impoverished housing, Work Done, built a house, etc. Even think about DeAndre Hopkins, bro. Phenomenal article that I read written by Mina Kimes about DeAndre Hopkins and his upbringing and everything he had to go through. That's different. Different people are in more imminent need of money and therefore are more imminently focused on money. Baker Mayfield's like, nah, I just kind of focused on work, and money's always found me. I genuinely think he ain't worried about them coins.
Man, I wish I could believe you, but I'm in a lot of those experiences you just mentioned, and I'm glad you brought me up. What's better than having some money? Having more money. You know what's so funny? You can bring up all these experiences of people who didn't need money. I could bring up Eli Manning and Peyton Manning. Still, on draft day, Eli, I ain't going there, and I want my bread where I go. I dictate terms. So people who don't need money still dictate terms and still want to meet somewhere. I'm going to tell you where. Versus people who want money. And you're talking about people who want money like me, and you're talking about Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. We need money and we want money. But you know where high society meets us in the low-income society? In a place of what you deserve, what have you earned. Okay. So no matter what you come from, you could be a billionaire, second generation playing in the NFL. But what you deserve and what you earn, you certainly gonna take. And that's where I think you are missing this one. I think that's where the holes in the arguments are. You're selling Girl Scout cookies. That's what you're doing. Baker did it, and some people bought it too. And you're selling them as well. Let me tell you this. Huh?
Samoas or Thin Mints?
Oh, I'm on peanut butter, but go do you, do you. We ain't gonna never fight with the Girl Scout cookies because I want all the peanut butters. Here's the thing. This message is see-through to fans. They sitting there like, just play well, and you're going to get your bread. We don't want to hear anything else. You want to know why? Because right now, if ticket prices were to triple, do you know that the dog pound will be an empty kennel? Because nobody going. You want to know why? Because they're even bread conscious. I bleed Cleveland Browns. How much some tickets again? Hell no. Because the bread dictates the terms. Baker Mayfield, you ball out. Not like what you've been doing, this roller coaster ride of good, bad, pretty good. You ball out. And then they sit there and say, we ain't giving you your bread. All of a sudden, you're going to fall back on your childhood. Well, I really don't need bread, so I'm fine with that. Will you stop? Baker Mayfield wants what he earns. Right now, he hasn't earned enough. So right now, he's going to say franchise quarterback things because right now, he doesn't have franchise performing moments. That's where he stops short.
I think that's fair, but there are two trains of thought. You bring up your examples, which are true, but remember the example of Tom Brady. Like, we know Tom Brady has taken pay cut after pay cut. Tom Brady deserves to be the highest paid quarterback every year.
But for a reason.
He deserves
Dive into the details.
Talk to me.
Tom Brady, people always say that. But first, Tom Brady got paid.
Yes, sir.
Then Tom Brady said, okay, before you pay me again, pay Wes Welker.
Sure.
They shortchanged Wes Welker. He left, went to Denver. So Tom Brady has allocated money to other places. At times, it's gotten
Yes, sir.
At times, he hasn't.
But if we're being just blatantly looking at data, every year Tom Brady should be the highest paid quarterback.
By results.
But he typically never is.
Okay.
Now, we could look incubated at Tom Brady, or we could look macro at the Brady family and understand that Brady's wife, Giselle, has a net worth of $400 million. So when Brady's going home at night, he's not worried about these dollars. He's worried about these wins because he doesn't have to worry about these dollars. That's the slight parallel I'm drawing, but I'll really end my point looking at it like this.
Let's go.
Baker Mayfield understands what I've preached for a year now, which is simple. Two ways as a starting quarterback to achieve wealth: by wins or by individual domination. That's what we see.
Yeah. Yes.
Joe Flacco, he wasn't the greatest quarterback ever, not at all, but he led the Ravens to a Super Bowl and won it. Nick Foles wasn't the greatest quarterback ever, not at all, but he had a great 4-game stretch, really a phenomenal 3-game stretch. Got him an $88 million deal. Flacco, he got a $120 million deal. Jared Goff, he was so bad in his team's eyes that they just traded him at the ripe age of 26 or 27. $134 million deal, not because he was individually great, but he won. Nick Foles, not individually great, but he won. Joe Flacco, not individually great, but he won. On the flip side, Deshaun Watson, he didn't win, but individually great. Matt Stafford, never won a playoff game, but individually great. Matt Ryan, he was individually great, although he also got to a Super Bowl later in his career, year 9. So Baker Mayfield is saying, look, okay, I've heard Marcellus Wiley. Individually, I might not be all that great. But as long as we win, that's also a track to being paid. So I'm not going to worry about individual success. I'm going to worry about winning, like Flacco did, like I saw with Foles, like I saw with Jared Goff, because all them cats were the highest paid quarterback, not Nick Foles, but Jared Goff and Joe Flacco, highest paid quarterbacks at one point in time. I'm going to take that train of success.
Yeah, but you got to have your numbers add up to that. Okay, let's be real about this. Winning cures all.
Yes, sir.
It cures all for the team, but not necessarily for all the players. Let's just be real. You can't always hide under the umbrella and say, we won. They said, but what did you do in contribution to that same winning? I'm not even going to dive into all the details about that. But you bring up a Deshaun Watson, 2 games over 500, but then you look at him, you're like, yeah, that's special. Baker, you don't look at him and say, yeah, that's special.
Correct.
Not yet, right? Let's talk about winning. If it's just about winning, why Jimmy G is trade bait? Why Jimmy G in these conversations in terms of losing his job right now? Jimmy G is 22-8. Not all about winning. Ask Mr. Trubisky. You brought up before.
But he got paid, though. Jimmy G was the highest paid at one point in time. Off winning.
Off 5-0. Off of potential. I always tell you, there's 2 things you can get paid. Proven production or hella potential. And that's how you got paid. Baker's not in the hella potential thing. We're like, what are you? It's still the inconsistency. Mr. Trubisky in your full screen yesterday. Like, Mr. Trubisky, the winning doesn't cure all. He has a higher winning percentage than a lot of quarterbacks and find himself as a backup on $4 million contract. Be careful of this. Here's what I got to say about Baker Mayfield in terms of some of the statistics, some of the numbers. There are examples of quarterbacks who had their 5th-year options picked up, but then they weren't in the long-term plans, no long-term contract extensions. Jameis Winston with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Where's Baker Mayfield in comparison to Jameis Winston right now? Like when Jameis Winston was out there, 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, but also 30 interceptions. But has Baker Mayfield thrown for 30 touchdowns? Anybody? Okay, whatever. Marcus Mariota, I think he got him beat. But still, fifth-year option picked up, but then get up out of here. Blake Bortles. Think Baker Mayfield got Blake Bortles as well, even though Blake Bortles did go deeper in the playoffs one year than Baker Mayfield so far. RG3. Baker Mayfield has not had the highs of an RG3 just yet, but with RG3, obviously injury, but didn't find himself in long-term plans. Ryan Tannehill, interesting one with the Dolphins. Pick up the fifth-year option, but then, I don't know. And then look how that worked out. My point is this. He's right there in the middle of a statistic that says, yeah, we're going to get your fifth-year option, but you're still on a prove-it deal. So if you're in a position where you still have to prove yourself, you're not trying to prove yourself so you can get the financial reward from it. Oh, you want the team reward, but you don't want the money that comes from that same individual accomplishment and team award. Look, I just about being authentic. If you're going to keep it 100, if you're going to get your money, it's fine. But don't go back to your childhood and talk about, well, I'm playing the game now because when I was a kid, I was rich, and it doesn't matter. Baker, caught you lying.